し生まれ変わったらその時はさ
Hello loves, welcome back to another video. Today we are reading a Shimizu Kiyoko X listener. This one was requested. I call it Safe Haven, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Kiyoko had always been one of your really good friends, and even though she always showed some sign of having a minor crush on one of your other friends, Sugawara, you still liked her. She was the kind of girl that could get anyone to do anything. She was beautiful, with raven black hair and a beauty mark on the left side of her chin. You always wanted to ask her out, but never really got the chance. She always had something going on with the volleyball club because she was their manager. She had to be at every game and hype them up. A part of you always wondered how hard it was for her to keep up with everything. Everyone knew she was basically the mom of the group, taking care of the players as if they were her brothers or sons, though you couldn't help but wonder if it took too much of a toll on her. Yeah, she was always there for everyone, but who was there for her? For this reason, you decided to start going to the games of your school boys volleyball club. The sport volleyball never really interested you. You were way more into music. You had a fine fascination for the term. You and Kiyoko went back years to the time when you were in grade school. There was a small cherry blossom tree on the left far corner of the grass field that lay outside the classroom building. You both would go down to the cherry blossom tree, sit underneath it, and hang out. You would listen to music through your earbuds and take turns picking songs. You would do this for an immaculately period of time. You both had a favorite band that you would talk about regularly during classes. When Kiyoko became the Krasno High Boys volleyball team manager, she became more distant with you. Instead of hanging out with you after school, or walking to the park, or home, she would go down to the gym for practice. Her job was fairly simple, but also complex. You didn't understand how she could do this and keep up with her schoolwork as well. Kiyoko Shimizu was truly a goddess in the works. You've always wanted to thank the angel that sent her down to help you lowly humans. One day you decided to stop and ask her on a date. It had been a while since you two had hung out, and you thought it was time to go back into the swing of things. Like many times before, she said she had practice in the gym, and for the first time, you offered to wait for her. She took a surprising step back at this, but nevertheless agreed. You never really went into the gym unless it was for PE, but even then, you weren't much of an athlete. You followed Kiyoko into one of the Krasno High School gyms and made your way over towards the bleachers. You heard your name being called out from Sugawara, Daichi, and Asahi. You waved hi to not be rude to them and took a seat on the silver-colored bleachers. You heard Kiyoko blow a whistle and all of the players seemed to gather around her. Wow, they really do listen to her, you thought in surprise. Hello everyone, today we are going to start by running 3 laps around the gym, then practice on each of your weak points separately. She spoke with a high-pitched tone, and it seemed for the first time she was serious about something. Your eyes widened, and you pushed yourself higher up in the seat you were in. Once the players all got lined up, she blew the whistle again, and they started running. She walked over towards where you were and smiled before returning her focus on the boys that were running. Say, Kiyoko-chan, who is that man over there? You questioned, pointing towards a tall and somewhat built man with long blonde hair and a pulled-back pony, similar to the one Kiyoko was wearing. Oh, that's just Coach. He is Yukai's grandson. Right, you nodded. That's the teacher in charge of the club. Kiyoko pointed to a shorter man. That's a teacher? You questioned, highly confused. Kiyoko wasted no time giggling at your statement and replied, Yeah, Coach Yukai calls him Specs. You chuckled, placing your hands on the bleacher rim that ran down the mall, keeping any harm from coming to the watchers. It's rather cute, don't you think? She spoke in a soft tone, admiring the floor. Yes, but yours certainly cuter, you said, looking straight into the back of her head. She looked up immediately and shot you a shocked expression. I mean, it's true, you said, smiling brightly at the girl. She fixed her glasses and cleared her throat. Thanks, YN. You smiled warmly again and decided that today was the day you would ask her out. What was the worst that could happen? Okay, so she could reject you, but that doesn't mean your relationship would change. You could always continue to be friends. You shuddered at the thought of Kiyoko showing you pity and asking if you could still be friends. You did not like that feeling. "Hey, Kiyoko?" you questioned. She turned around, but swiftly returned her head in front of her because her name was being called. "Hey, Kiyoko, we finished!" an indefinite short boy shouted, running up to her. "Oh, okay." She trembled over her words, obviously concerning her teammates. "Huh? Kiyoko, why are you stammering?" Another short boy spoke. He had bright orange hair, like the sun. "No reason. Come on, let's put you in your stations," she whispered back. Kiyoko began to walk off, but before she did, she glanced back up at you and asked, "Can we talk later?" You nodded your head and sighed, slouching back down into your seat. 2 hours of you scrolling on your phone and trying different snap filters. Your phone died. You rolled your eyes, placing your phone into your book bag and sliding out of your seat. You stretched from either side and yawning. Not too long after, Kiyoko ran up to you and asked, "Ready?" She had a large smile on her face. Her beauty mark and black hair only complimented her even more, and you couldn't help but blush. She was so cute. How could someone be that cute? You didn't know, but you sure didn't care either. On the way out, Kiyoko waved bye to her other friends. They waved bye back, and unbeknownst to you two, smirked at each other. They seemed to be talking, but without using any words. Once outside, you told Shimizu you wanted to take her someplace. She obliged after confirming what you were going to be doing was not illegal. You laughed it off and told her that it was absolutely not. A couple of minutes later, you two approached your old elementary school. "Come on!" you yelled, climbing the small gate. "You said this wasn't illegal," she pestered, making you giggle. "It's not." You shook it off. "We are literally trespassing. Only if you get caught." No, Wyan, get back here," she quietly yelled while looking around to see if anyone was witnessing your actions. You laughed and ran in a circle, taunting her. "Come on, Kiyoko-chan, don't be a chicken." "Wyan," she huffed, beginning to hop the gate that separated you and her. Again you laughed, and when she began chasing you, you ran all the way down to the small cherry blossom tree that you used to hang around when you were kids. You stopped, catching your breath with a smile on your face. "Hey, I forgot what it felt like to run," you said. "Maybe you should try it more often." She laughed out. "Oh, the disrespect," you exclaimed, placing a hand over your heart, pretending to actually be offended by her comment. "I need to sit down for a second." You walked over and sat under the old tree. You were actually surprised the school hadn't chopped it down like it did with all the other old trees. Shimizu sat beside you, resting her head on a large bark behind her. She sighed out and closed her eyes, enjoying the peace and quiet that whipped within the wind. "Kiyoko?" you questioned, breaking the silence. She hummed out in response, not making any attempt to open her eyes. "Do you know where we are?" you questioned. This she opened her eyes to. She looked around before looking back at you. "Our safe haven." She had a calm smile planted on her smooth, pale skin. Damn, she was beautiful, and the wind blowing throughout her hair made it physically impossible not to smile. "Do you know why?" you asked again. "What is this, 20 questions?" She playfully giggled. You did as well. Then silence once again took over. "No, but for real, do you know why?" Shimizu looked down, tucking a piece of her hair behind her ear. Darkness began to take over as it was almost 5:30 p.m. "I may have an idea," she whispered. "Oh, what is it?" She mumbled. "Wyan?" she questioned. Both of you made eye contact, blush clear across both cheeks, and slowly but swiftly you started to lean in. Eventually you stopped right in front of each other's lips. "Kiyoko, I like you too," she said before further leaning in, closing the gap of the wind that flew through. You kissed back, and to you was the best feeling in the world. You thanked your so-called safe haven for being the one thing that drew you two so close, even after you grew apart. Your safe haven was there to keep you both from leaving. A Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this story. I'm sorry that like if I was changing her voice a lot. I'm sorry. I slept in a lot today. I slept until like 9. I usually wake up around 6 or 7. Okay, bye loves.